From the inner sense of time comes the ancient poet's rhyme, bringing us the master key to open up the mystery. From the depth of time and space, we arrive in quiet grace, finding what is meant to be as we explore the mystery, pouring forth from days gone by. We can hear the poet sigh from the depth of ecstasy, moving into mystery. Hello and welcome to Creative Connections. I'm your host, Gary Blanchard, and today my guest is singer, songwriter, musician, Joe Petrilla. Joe, welcome.
Hey, thank you.
So, Joe, you have been performing for a while?
Many years.
Okay, whereabouts?
Started here around 1985 playing bass.
Okay.
And that was my first instrument.
Okay.
Got an old Guild fretless.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I learned to play music.
Okay.
Was with a fretless bass.
Learned on a fretless bass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge in itself.
It was. Trying to keep it in tune, and then figuring out where to put the fingers because there were no marks or anything either.
Right.
So it was all by ear. Yeah. I had that bass for a good few years before I finally went to a fretted bass.
Okay.
Much easier to play.
All right. And when did you move on to guitar?
Probably in the 90s.
In the 90s? Okay.
Yeah, 90s. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere around there.
All right. And you spent some time traveling, didn't you?
I traveled pretty extensively. Yeah. All around the world.
Okay. And you traveled by boat?
Traveled by boat, plane, car, bus, ferry, taxi. Right. Yeah.
So what brought you back to this area?
Well, my dad passed away in 2016.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
and,
that.
And thanks, because that's where I grew up. I was born in Ware.
Okay.
I was born in Mary Lane. And left this area around 1989. Went down to Florida. My mom was down there, and so I was living with her for a little while. Got established down there, and met my wonderful wife, Alex. We were working together in an organ and piano store.
Okay.
Yeah, in the mall, Fletcher Music Centers, and those little kiosk centers with the piano and the keyboards. Well, that was us.
Okay.
And that's where I met my wife, and we were in the St. Pete Mall, Pinellas Mall, and so we went from there to Charlottesville, Virginia, and I actually got to run I produced and directed a show for original music artists. It was called the Original Music Showcase. Ran for 3 years. Recorded over 362 songs, and
wow.
Yeah, a lot of groups. They come through traveling, and then and I was playing a little bit too at that time, but mostly I was in production, doing engineering and running cameras and directing sound and working on remote shoots for different events and venues. Star Hill, Corin Capshaw owned a club there called Star Hill, and they had a lot of traveling acts, and so I'd go in with a couple of cameras and we'd matrix the sound off the board and record it and then dub the video to the audio separate and all that stuff later on.
Okay.
It was quite a production. And and then from there we ended up moving to Poquoson, Virginia, and right on the Chesapeake Bay, and it was nice. And I got struck with thyroiditis.
Ooh.
So basically, I had to get my thyroid radiated, and that was fun. Adjusting all the levels, because then you go hypothyroid after that,
right.
You know, because I was hyper to start. So basically, I was kind of in a continuous adrenaline rush.
Oh.
It took them about almost a year to figure it out.
Okay.
So I was losing weight. I was down to like 165, and yeah. So then from there, had a couple of beautiful children, and we decided after we got myself straightened out with the thyroid to get a boat. And this stemmed off of doing some weekend jaunts on a little sport fisher I had. Okay. And we'd go anchor out in the island and hang out there, and the kids were all like, yay, this is fun, and blah, blah, blah. And so we're like, well, let's get a bigger boat. And so I ended up, after all this research, coming up with this old 1972 home-built catamaran, sailing catamaran, 50 feet by 22 feet wide. And I found it in St. Croix, and the boat was built in Hawaii. And the guy that built it, Steve Lobb, sailed it around the world twice with 2 different wives and 7 kids later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so anyways, so I spent a couple nights with him, drinking scotch, listening to stories till like 3 a.m. in the morning, and we got this boat, Malachi. Well, Malachi didn't have any engines, no electrical, hole in the hull, and so we got it in St. Croix, had to tow it out to the surf, past the reef and everything, sail it 60 miles to St. Thomas to have it hauled out. So here we are, we got 3 sails up on this cutter rig catamaran with no engine, no dinghies, no life preservers. I mean, we got nothing. And we sail it to St. Thomas, get into the bay, anchor it, and then I bought a dinghy, of course, and proceeded to fix it up, had it hauled out. And, but that 2005 was also that year that all the hurricanes were coming through.
Right.
And, yeah, so we were getting hit by storms. And so anyways, I called my wife one day. I was like, you know what? Rent out our house, and you and the kids come down here. And so we ended up, instead of taking the boat back home, we ended up getting on it in St. Croix. And yeah, so basically 9 years later, we lived on that sailboat, sailing around the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, up through Miami, New York, to Newport, Rhode Island, back down to Cuba, Mexico. Lived in Mexico for a few years and started playing with the local band, doing cover music, Brown Eyed Girl, Jimmy Buffett. And so I ended up on this little island living on a boat playing music.
That's quite a story. So any songs come out of this?
Yes, absolutely. And those songs are kind of like beachy-ish.
Okay.
You know, kind of, yeah, relaxing. And
yeah. Is there one you can play for us?
Let's see. Sure. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. Well, anyways, this is basically a spin-off of a rock blues type of format, and it's called "Dancing by the Sea." And it was written, of course, we were in St. Thomas for a while, and we were moored out in front of Honeymoon Beach on Water Island, and we had a mooring there, and they didn't have any music on the island. And so we started up music. So basically we got a generator. One of the guys opened up a tiki bar, and yeah, so we started with a little PA, little mic, little amp, about 4 people. We built it up to almost 200 people.
Wow.
It was over 100 plus easy. And it would be pig roasts, and they'd come from all the different islands to come to our little jam on this
like
Honeymoon Beach, yeah, on Water Island. So anyways, yeah, so I left there, and so this song was inspired mostly because of that.
Okay.
Just about sunset, I'm sitting on a blanket, just my baby and me. We got Buffett in a chorus on the box. Feels damn good to be out of my socks, sticking my feet and toes in the sand. just about sunset. I'm sitting on a blanket, just my baby and me. We got tunes on the beach, mine's within reach. There's no place we got to be. Me and my baby dancing by the sea. Woo! Chasing the good life now. Looking on another sunny day for me. Yeah, 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 Just after sunset and we're not done yet, dancing with my baby, you see. We got tunes on the beach, wine's within reach. There's no place we got to be. Me and my baby dancing by the sea. Woo! Living the good life now. Looking on another sunny day for me. Yeah, 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 And me and my baby dancing by the sea, yeah. Me and my baby dancing by the sea, yeah. Me and my baby dancing by the sea. Oh, baby, baby.
All right.
So that's Dancing by the Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was inspired, well, people dancing around our little jams in St. Thomas.
Cool. Now you are leading open mics and jams right around this area now.
Sure, why not? You know, as opposed to just being the star of the show and, you know, this is my gig. No, I can perform a couple songs and invite others to come in and show their talents as well. And I think it's great to share music and...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So one of the ones that you're doing is at Lost Towns Brewing.
Lost Towns Brewing is a really fantastic place right now for our acoustic open mic and jam session. And I've been honored and blessed to have you come in.
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Hey, well, you sound great. And yeah, we've been having very good talent coming, and the IPAs are surprisingly good because, not to really push that too much, but you know, they do taste very good, and they're very cold, and it's a very good atmosphere there.
Well, that's it. It's a great atmosphere. It is really good craft brewed beer, but you know. You and John Severance plays drums with you, and you have created such a comfortable space for people to come in. And one thing I like is if a person should show up not knowing there's an open mic going up and they're a musician, you'll let them use your guitar.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Or John will lend the djembe, or yeah, it's wide open. Yeah, it's good. Poets, anything to do with music, dance, artistry, you know, we'll find space for it.
And you know, I think I'm glad you mentioned poets, because it's sometimes hard to find an open mic that is open to poetry. And I think that you do a wonderful job of getting the audience into the space to hear poetry.
Oh, hey, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And, you know, it's a welcoming place for anybody. And you don't have to be a super talent.
No. Matter of fact, if you have questions, ask. So, we're definitely build them up. I was even thinking about doing some sort of group lesson sometime down the road if I ever have time to do it, which would be kind of nice. Because basically you just set up a screen, you have the chord chart up, and, it's like we're going to play this song. All right, here's your D, here's your C, here's your G chords. Everybody all together now, let's follow, and which is part of my experience I had in Florida. I worked for Shepherd Music Centers teaching kids.
Okay.
Yeah, and we called them the ankle biters. And they were from 6 to 14 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, and we taught them every instrument: bass, guitar, pianos, drums, doing old time rock and roll, Johnny B. Good, that type of stuff.
Like a lot of fun.
And yeah, it was. And they do little benefits and stuff around for whatever, Heart Association or whatever. And it was a lot of fun. And it was very rewarding for me to see them do that and to congeal together as a band. I mean, literally a drummer, bass, keyboards, guitar, a couple singers, and they're all 6 and 12.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
It seems to me that you view music as being a communal art.
Well, music is selfish because most people do music for themselves. It's therapy, it's internal, whatever it does for you. Everybody has a different feeling for it, and that's either whether they're listening, or they're playing. And I get a great comfort and relief and feeling from playing music, and then creating and writing music as a challenge. And I love the challenge of it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's my selfish side of music.
Okay. When you write, do you have a set way of writing, or?
We could write a song right now of anything, anytime, anywhere. And basically we could set, and we do that a lot too, is you can just pick a topic and then create a song from that. And then depending on the mood and of course the topic would kind of determine the genre. So maybe we feel like reggae, or maybe we feel like blues or rock or Americana or country, or maybe even bluegrass, who knows. Mm-hmm. But so I'm kind of experienced in a little bit of all of it, so I kind of dabble.
Yeah. What has really kind of impressed me about the open mics at Lost Towns is that whoever comes in, you find a way of getting them to kind of move in and sit in with each other, and it's amazing how musicians of different types, there's still kind of a universal language, and there are some kind of universal songs that kind of everybody seems to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
that's very true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where else do you perform?
Well, usually I perform around the world. I get to tour and perform in different countries. Right now it's been 16 that I've gotten to perform in. And here I go to Springfield locally. Not too much as far as like gigging goes. On July 24th I'll be at the Hardwick Winery.
Okay.
Yeah, and that'll be with John, probably acoustic djembe set. And we've been doing every other Sunday at the Rise and Grind in Gilbertville, Mass. Hardwick, Gilbertville. And it's a new shop that just opened up. They're doing nutrition shakes and stuff like that, Herbalife. Yeah. And I think it's very good, and but they're doing $2 burgers and $1.50 hot dogs, and we get to play, jam, have an open mic, hang out, and they're going to get tables and chairs. They got a pool table, play some pool, and so that's basically what I'm doing right now. So Friday and every other Sunday, and then Saturday for the August, starting August 7th, we'll be at Gabe's.
Okay,
right here and where, yeah, and that'll be open mic as well.
Okay. Yeah, so play another song for us.
Okay. lot of people go through different moods and positions in their life, you know. We get, some people have depression, some people have introvert issues, some people have trouble, you know, communicating. Going through life is always not going to be a straight and clear path, you know. It's going to have its ups and downs. So this song here, I think I wrote during one of my depression eras, because they do happen.
Oh yeah.
It's been raining for 40 days, and all you see is hilltops full of valleys flooded away. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been raining 15 days. It's hard to see through this foggy haze, but yes, I know there's something better to see. My eyes wide open, but I still can't see. But as the door opens wide, I see the sun is shining outside. Hey, yeah. I haven't seen the sun in oh so long, and all I see is just the shadows on the wall. But now I'm ready to go outside. Yes, I'm ready to come outside. But as the door opens wider, I see the light warms the floor, the brick, the mortar. Ooh, hey, yeah. Of course, this is where the great solo comes in. That's the haze.
A lot of times when you perform, you use a looper. And for the folks out there who don't know what a looper is, tell them kind of what it does.
Well, it's kind of a phrase recording machine. So you'll play a phrase on a little box, you push a button, it records it, you press it again, and it just plays over that little loop that you made. So if I do like a strum, 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 hit the loop, it'll record it back and play it. So then I can accompany myself. And actually John has gotten pretty good at playing with the looper. So on my electric rig, because we don't have a bass player, I haven't found a bass player since I've been here. You know, I lived, anyways, where's the bass players? What's wrong with you guys? No, I'm just kidding. So I have a guitar synthesizer along with the guitar effect and a looper with a stereo channel, so that way there I can use the MIDI for piano, strings, or bass. and then loop it together. So the guitar and the keyboards play together, and then I can put bass onto it, and then solo.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, but I just like soloing. I mean, it's just so much fun, and it's such a, again, it's such a challenge.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, you're very adept. I have seen you jump in and play solos on songs that you've never heard before.
Lucky, maybe. A little blessed, but no, because basically I think once you figure out, and this is what I would recommend to somebody, is just learn the note positions on the fretboard. You don't have to know music theory. All you need to, well, it does help. I'm not saying not have music theory, because that'll be the plus. But if you can know what note is where, you'll figure out that when I go from here to here, oh, it sounds really good. You know, and so I learned every note where they are on here so I can match them up later on. Is my simplest form of explanation. So if I'm playing an E here, I know that the same E will sound maybe different, higher octave or lower sound or higher pitch or whatever, but I know it's here too. So when I play here, here, and that's the beginning of a solo, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm working on now. So that's my new goals, is to better singing and to learn more soloing techniques.
Okay.
Is my personal goal right now.
Yeah. Well, I do want to thank you for bringing this to the area. You know, I think that, again, this area is really starting to bloom. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And having the open mics is wonderful for the artists in the area who do not have a chance to get out in front of an audience.
Absolutely. That, or it's a good first step if you're sitting at home wondering if you can get out.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Because also kudos to, what's the something 13 here?
Workshop 13.
Workshop, sorry, I forgot Workshop. But yeah, I mean, they were doing some great things too in the arts here, locally and where for a while too. And I just have to give them a little kudos.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
You know,
and they are starting live music up again in September. So
yeah, and they do crafts and they do ceramics. They do all kinds of different things. So I think that's another really cool thing that should be mentioned.
Oh, absolutely.
And then of course you guys, Creative Connections, and this wonderful place here, beautiful studio. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. And we'll see you next time on Creative Connections. From the inner sense of time comes the ancient poet's rhyme, bringing us the master key to open up the mystery. From the depth of time and space, we arrive in quiet grace, finding what is meant to be, as we explore the mystery, pouring forth from days gone by. We can hear the poet sigh, from the depth of ecstasy, moving into mystery.